Today on our show,
Hold the door.
hold the door.
Hold the door.
Hold the door.
Hold door.
Hold door. Hold door. We're going to love on Game of Thrones and the season finale of Flash on this very episode of Fat Man on Batman. Hello, and welcome to another thrilling episode of Fat Man on Batman. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernardin.
We are going to talk about two of the greatest hours of TV produced this year.
Fair enough.
I will say. Definitely Game of Thrones was a stunning episode this week. This is not the Game of Thrones podcast, but we do talk about stuff like that on this show. We've given it love before.
We have indeed.
But this is perhaps one of the greatest hours of that series they produced, of course, ending with the Hodor revelation, and then spoilers, just like the rest of the show. If you haven't watched this shit yet,
come on.
Don't fucking listen to this. Spoilers, 1, 2, 3. The death of Hodor.
Oh, damn.
Honestly, dude, I thought that motherfucker would make it to the end. I didn't think he'd sit on the Iron Throne, but I honestly thought like he'd make it to the end because he had no agenda.
I thought he'd pick up the Iron Throne and bring it to somebody.
This is why you fucking hang out with a writer. That's the ending that they missed, motherfucker.
Just humping the Iron Throne.
And it's kind of like the ending of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The chief picking up the fucking sink and throwing it out the window. He brings it to Bran, and he's like, Hodor. And then
screw some wheels on it so they can push Bran and the wheels.
The iron wheelchair throne. Oh my God. This is why we're not writing Game of Thrones. They did a phenomenal job without the help of Marc Bernardin, if you can believe that, man. They wrote a fucking killer episode, gave us a lot of information, including the origin of the White Walkers, which they threw away. Like you would be like, hey, did you see, it's 78 degrees out today? They just tossed it away. You're like,
nope, I pushed a thing in a dude. White Walkers.
and that's it. And that's enough, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to do 3 episodes about that. It was just like, oh, I get it. They were using this guy, turning him into a White Walker to protect them from the humans.
Yep.
But,
Oops.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I will tell you, though.
Fire away.
I love this episode, save one thing.
Uh-oh.
The one thing I don't love. I was talking to our producer, Matt Key, about this before. I am not sure that I need time travel peanut butter in my Game of Thrones chocolate.
Explain. Because of Bran
warging into the past.
Through the past? See, I like that. I thought that was badass. I'm like, he warged minimum 30 years into the future from a flashback. Was he in the past? I don't understand warging. Is he literally there or no?
According to the Three-Eye Raven technology, which clearly has been thought of by the finest minds in Westeros, yes, you can.
What a fucking smart ass you are. They make one of the greatest episodes ever. You're like, well, if you believe this horse shit in Westeros.
Yeah. No, here's the thing. Like, I have no problem at all with time travel.
Yeah.
As long as it's baked into your show from the beginning. Like, Lost is fundamentally about time travel. It is like flash forwards and flashbacks and sideways. Like, temporal fluidity is in that DNA. This was like, time travel?
Yeah.
I thought I was supposed to just buy magic. Like, you get the one buy.
Yeah, don't get shitty where you're like, what? I believe in the magic and the dragons and the stone skin, but time travel? Fuck this show.
Got no time for your time travel.
It's just jump the fucking shark or whatever the shark equivalent, the dragon, is in the Game of Thrones.
Jump the king shark.
That to me didn't bother me. I thought that was kind of badass.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, and especially the fact that Bran created Hodor. Mm-hmm. That's
thanks, Bran.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
That dude was gonna live a perfectly happy, fat life until Bran's like, hold the door.
Willis, his name was.
Willis.
And he was like chatty and shit like that.
He was what is Willis talking about?
Yeah.
Everything.
What you talking about, Willis? He's like, oh,
A bunch of shit. Not anymore.
Unbelievable, man. Fucking. Do you think that moment, what created, did he just give him a stroke because he was using his mind? Or was it Hodor, young Hodor, through the eyes of old Hodor, sees his own death? Terrifies him to death, and that's what makes him like, Hodor.
Maybe.
And he would always freak out when there was lightning and shit like that. Like, he was easily scared. And that's what I was watching. I was like, oh my God, do they mean that he's fucking known forever in the back of his mind? This is how he goes out? It was badass, dude. Him holding that fucking door is so emotional. That show is always well shot, well cut, well scored. But there was one cut to him like bearing down on the door that made me fucking really cry, where he was just like, no, like, you know,
no door.
No door. He was like, no door. But it like really trying. And then when the fucking axes came through, like, because I was sitting there going, don't kill this fucker. Like, no way.
You can't do
Not
this.
him. Not this fucking guy.
Hodor.
Oh my God. As soon as the axes came through and the hands, and they were scraping him and stabbing him, I was fucking bawling. And I knew too, the moment she goes, hold the door, I was like, no.
Shut the fuck up.
I did. I had one of those moments. There he is, glorious character. One of the only characters in television history said one fucking word in all of his episodes.
It is like Bunk from The Wire doing the fuck, but for 5 seasons. Motherfucker. Fuck.
Or the other guy. Shit. It was perhaps some of the finest storytelling ever produced. I watched the after the show that they do behind the scenes. And those 2 producer dudes, they talked about getting that from the source.
Benioff and Weiss.
Benioff and Weiss said, we talked to George Martin. We were trying to pull information out of him in a hotel room. He sounds very sexy.
Oh, yes.
And he's a game of bones.
Paint me like you paint your French girls.
The Titanic mixed it. And he told them that origin story. And they were like, they didn't say they cried, but they were like, even in the room, it was really moving. I tested, I put up on Twitter, I was like, fantastic storytelling doesn't need fucking pictures to travel. My kid don't watch Game of Thrones. I was driving her to work the next day. I told her the fucking story of Hodor in terms of like, you know, I had to give a little back. Like, he only says Hodor and shit like that. It's about all the backstory you need. The guy only says Hodor. Then I'm like, here's why he says Hodor. Told that story, dude, she was fucking bawling. Bawling. Like, and I'm like, you gotta watch this show. She's like, I don't need to because I made her cry.
It for me.
Totally. But she watched it just today. I showed her the scene because my wife was like, your daughter's here crying about hold the door or something. I was telling her about fucking Game of Thrones. Hold on. I brought her down into the room and showed her that whole sequence. And she was like audibly, I loved it. I was like, this kid's definitely mine. She's like, oh my God, no! Like screaming at the TV for somebody she didn't even have a connection to. I've watched many seasons, so I like Hodor. But I also got her with Flash too. I was driving her to school today at the bus stop, and I told her this is the ending of the season finale, and that got her crying too, man. That's good storytelling when you can like be like, oh, you know what they did last night? And you tell it to somebody, and they're like, oh my God, that's affecting me, and I don't even watch it. Yeah. So good. What else did you like in the episode? I like Sansa finally got proactive.
Was fucking awesome.
Where she's just like, let's take back the North, fucker.
And also, did you know, Ramsay, Littlefinger, did you know?
How dope was that? She's like, say it. Say what
he did to me. Yes. You know what he did to me.
That was fucking good. They, like, you know, for years, her character, of course, first time we ever saw her, she was sewing. And then first time we see her in this episode, she's sewing, and then gives to Jon Snow his fucking
the wolf
insignia.
Yes.
But yeah, they let her like light up. Suddenly they're like, Sansa's here, like a motherfucker, man. Yeah. And that scene with Littlefinger was hands down her best work in this show. And that's not taking anything away. In a good long while, it's not saying she's never been good. She's wonderful, but fuck, that's like now you can't go backwards. After that scene, she's become like instantly jumps to the top 10 most interesting people on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, totally. I mean, especially between like last week where just the Sansa story of her finally getting to hug Jon, like never having seen him for like 5 years of this show.
Right.
Like,
and I think we never saw them on camera together.
Hardly ever.
Season 1. I don't think they ever really interacted.
I mean, they might have been in the, hey, the king is coming to Winterfell scene, and that's kind of it. So we're finally getting what we want out of Sansa. We're getting her like reunited with her potentially, possibly not at all brother.
Oh my God, give him a single. He's fucking rolling.
Yeah, maybe uncle.
Yeah.
Because there is this whole theory that he is not the bastard son of
Ned Stark.
Ned Stark. He is the bastard son.
Wait for it. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
1, 2, 3. Spoil away.
Of Lyssa, who is Cat Stark's sister, and the Targaryen dude.
So that Tower of Joy.
The Tower of Joy.
Where, you know, young Ned Stark killed the fucking
Rhaegar
dude.
Targaryen, I think.
Rhaegar, I think.
And Lyssa, whatever her maiden name is.
And it's not
Tully,
like they've made it seem like it was he attacked her and fucking raped her, but we all think that they were in love, and had a baby.
Right, and that baby is Jon Snow. And apparently in the books, there's this whole scene where they get to the tower and the bed is covered in blood, and they never speak of it again, but the blood is like childbirth. And she dies in childbirth.
Nobody stops for a second and go, hey, was a baby born here?
Move on.
It's like the real fuck. Don't tell me that Game of Thrones is predicated on a Three's Company like misunderstanding. That would really fucking piss me off.
Mr. Furley's coming.
Oh my God.
Close the door.
If only someone had told Furley that Jack was not gay, none of this would have happened. What else happened in that show, man?
Let's see. Ooh, Theon finally turns into a man without a balls.
Yeah, and boy, they fucking. Can you imagine for the rest of your life, everyone in town's like, he's got no dick. They
Where's
cut
your
his
cock?
dick off. Yeah.
Where's your cock? You can't speak for the Ironborn. You got no cock.
You ain't got no iron in your dick because you ain't got no dick.
Salt God took your dick.
Everyone's got a closer. You know what I'm saying? You can't get into a fight with anybody, even if you're fully justified.
Yeah.
You can't get into a fight.
How's your dick doing?
Yeah, they're like, well, hey, dickless, you got something to say? Like, I guess not.
Well, I am. That's the truth.
But you know, you put that dude down long enough, sooner or later, fucking, he's gonna start cutting throats and shit. A dickless man got nothing to lose, Mark. I know that. That's my whole life is predicated on that. I'm a dickless man. I've done many things. Brave, heading out into adventure because I'm like, what do I got to lose? Certainly not a dick. Same thing with Theon.
I mean, clearly, dickless men in this world can be on the rise,
You ain't
like
kidding.
Lord Varys.
That's actually very funny. Dickless men can be on the rise.
Scene.
It's funny shit.
Yes, Theon.
Who has a bigger dick, Theon or his sister at this point?
Oh, sister.
I'd say his
Man
sister. Man.
alive.
She's ready to rule. She was about to be queen and shit. She was like, I fucking claim the Iron Throne. And then Uncle Killer,
Uncle Euron, his name is?
Uncle Urine.
Urine.
He's just pissing all over everything,
The
Uncle Urine.
constellation Urine.
And suddenly that's it. Suddenly, it was fucked up, man. I like the ceremony that makes somebody the fucking king of the Ironborn and shit. Where all of a sudden he drowns him, literally fucking drowns him, and then if the dude comes back to life, he's the king.
It's like, you win.
Holy shit. And then the first thing he says is like, where are my niece and nephew? Let's kill them. So thank God they fucking took off with the fleet.
Maybe they knew how that was going to go down.
Yeah, apparently. And boy, they had a lot of people on their side, man.
Pretty much.
That's the thing. You see all those boats sailing away? It's just like, you know, if all those people turned around and said, we're going to stand by her here on the shore and kill you, they probably could have taken over old Uncle Urine.
Probably.
And the old man priest who's like, it's the law and shit. Like some cleargyman fucking shit up. Last season it was shame. This season it's the fucking water priest.
Clergy. So what else we got? Ooh,
Tormund and Brienne gonna hook up.
The meme that will never stop memeing.
It's kind of awesome.
It
They've
is
now
so
done
great.
2 big moments on the show where he's like, looking at her and stuff. There it is. Look at him, man. And she's like, no way, dude. Just because you're tall doesn't mean I have to fuck you, man.
6'5" and worth the climb.
In the books, apparently, he brags of betting a she-bear at one point. His character.
Like,
So
well, I fucked a bear.
he's a fun character too, man. I hope they hook up.
Why not?
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody needs
as a
ride.
large man, that's one of those things that I support. Large people getting together. But those people aren't fat; they're tall. If they go to the wide and tall store, they're going to the tall side of the store.
Pretty much.
I'm on the other side of the store going, those fuckers are tall. They're on the other side of the store going, he's in the fat section.
Rest well and dream of large women.
Arya, well done, good Paul. Arya goes to see that show.
She goes to the theater.
Holy shit. Could you imagine you go see a fucking play and they show a play of your life, but it makes your dad out to be a dick?
An asshole. Like a comedy of your tragedy life.
And Anna Finney's like, duh. He was like the dummy character. And she's just sitting there knowing she could smoke all these fools, but she can't because she's nobody now.
Nope. A girl has no name.
That's right.
A girl likes to go to the theater, apparently.
Yeah, with no name. Well, she was sent there because she's supposed to kill the actress, which she don't do yet. But while she's there, she has to fucking watch that shit. That would make me want to kill not just the actress, but every fucking actor there. Holy shit.
Burn it to the ground,
Get away
motherfuckers.
with it too. This fucking show continues to deliver. These 2 dudes are fucking geniuses, man.
Yeah. Here's the
What
thing
is
that
it,
I'm
Weiss
kind
and Benioff?
Yeah, D.B. Weiss and Dan Benioff.
Jesus, who honestly, man, like fucking, who looks at those books and goes, it's a fucking show?
There it is.
Those guys. That's why they get the fucking make it rain for them
Sweet
fools and
cash.
George R.R. Martin, man. It's crazy, dude. Like I'm sitting there watching fucking fairy people throwing hand grenades at dead people, and I'm like, this is my fucking soap opera.
Jam it.
This is real. This is art. So, fantastic episode of Game of Thrones.
Sweet.
Let's jump to the season finale.
Of Der Flash.
Of Der Flash, as they call it in the Eastern Bloc.
Der Flash.
Der Flash.
Der Flashen.
The Flash When I directed a few weeks ago, I don't know if you know that, but I directed an episode of
I've heard tell.
He was in the Speed Force, and he learned a very important lesson. But in the Speed Force, he met with many people, and the person in the Speed Force looked like people in his life, but the most important one, of course, was his mother. Right. So Barry's already compromised, even though everyone's like, he learned so much in your episode. How could this have happened in the final episode, season finale? It's because Barry is emotional. You know what I'm saying? Barry's not cold logic like Batman. Barry Allen feels
everything,
and he don't think before he feels. And you know, he's been this instrument of good since he got his speed, and the universe keeps fucking taking from him and taking from him. So in this season finale, they wrap up the Zoom storyline, and we got a view of the Black Flash as he died. That was pretty badass and shit. That wrapped very well, and they wrapped it like last season finale. They took it right up to the credits, dude. Like as soon as he got back from not saving his mom, and then he beats Thawne. The singularity opens, and he's like, I have to try.
On the ground.
And he fucking runs up to stop it. This year's season finale was incredibly emotional.
Yeah, the coda at the end is just heartbreaking.
That was worth the journey, because it's not only strong writing, because you realize this kid's broken. In my episode, he saw his mom, and you know, made some peace there with the death of his mom. In the very next episode, spoilers, his dad gets killed. So right away, he's like, oh my God, he's already on the ropes and stuff. Then he defeats Zoom, you know, with the help of the team. Everybody gets involved and defeats Zoom and stuff. And so suddenly things are kind of back to normal. But in this quiet moment where he has the scene with Iris, whole show, they've been waiting, everybody's waiting for Barry and Iris to kiss. And they did once in the two-shot. They did once in the day that didn't happen, when Barry reset it. So this is only the second time they've kissed in the show, and they did kiss. And Iris tells him, she's like, I'm ready.
Let's do this.
And Barry says, like, shockingly, he's like, right now, I'm just not there because of everything he's going through. So you're like, oh, they're pulling the taffy on that relationship. I salute them, man. Like, they're finding every good reason not to put them together.
Totally. And it all makes sense. Like, it all feels founded.
It's not inauthentic. It's good. It's real and stuff. So she's like, he goes, I got to work on some things. And she goes, well, I'll be here for you, just like you were always there for me for all those years. I'm going to wait for you, Barry. And the kiss is fucking astounding. She goes in the house, and then there's this really sad moment where he looks at them in the house, and he's like, Paul, they can't hear him, but he's like, I'm sorry, but I have to do this. Because he knows what he's about to do is not what he's supposed to do. No. But so much has been taken from him. Barry charges into the creates a time, or goes back in time. Let's put it that way. Goes so fast he goes back in time, which he knows now how to do very easily. Goes back to the moment, just like in the season finale, focuses on the moment of his mother's death, gets to the house. Just as his mom's about to be killed, he sees the lightning going on from the outside. The other version of himself gets young Barry out of the house so that Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, can't kill him. And so then Reverse Flash, of course, kills Barry's mom instead. But just as like Reverse Flash grabs a knife and they cut to his mom, Michelle Harrison on the floor, she's like, no! He's about to stab her and fucking bam! Barry comes to the window like a fucking hero and just slide tackles that motherfucker, takes him down. And he's just like, he beats the shit out of him. He's like, you're never gonna kill her again. He's like, you're never gonna kill her. He goes, you're not gonna kill her this time. You're never gonna kill her again. Bam, 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 fucking takes him. I was hoping he was just like, that would have been amazing if he was like, and took his fucking heart out. Instead, he's a hero. He just beat the shit out of him and shit, threw him to the ground. Essentially saving his mother. His mother's all scared, and he's like, you're safe. You're safe. And that's how the fucking episode ended, which anybody who knows their comic books, that's the beginning of Flashpoint right there. If you've seen the cartoon or read the comic books, the cartoon was the Flashpoint Paradox, the comic books was Flashpoint. Barry going back, and you can't fuck with time, as Stephen King tells you. Time will fuck with you. So Barry did the thing he shouldn't have done.
And he knew he shouldn't have done because...
He's emotional.
He's emotional. He's broken. He also, let's not forget, killed himself in this episode. Which is the other thing. Is that when he creates the time double of himself... Which
Zoom did in the beginning of the episode.
Zoom did in the beginning of the episode. He says, well, you know, what happened to that other guy? It's like, well, that other person was me. Another person killed himself. Like, we're the same guy.
Right.
I just made that decision that in order for me to survive, in order for you to survive, I was willing to die. And I did. Like, he was in the place, in the headspace, where he was willing to kill himself.
Right.
That breaks a dude.
Yeah. Good pull. Good. You see, I watched the last 10 minutes. You watched all of it. Boy, you remembered everything and stuff. You're absolutely right on that point, man.
Yeah, like that's the thing that kind of, and he just doesn't want to hurt anymore. Like he's spent his entire life not being selfish.
Right.
Like sacrifice is at the core of being a hero. He sacrifices everything all the time, and just once.
Give him a single, holy shit, good writing.
He's just like, you know what? I don't want to sacrifice anymore. Like I just want to be whole again. Like everything that I've got, everything that I am has been ripped from me. The only way for me to be whole is to sacrifice all of you. And that's the choice he makes, because he knows that after he does this, Iris isn't in his life that way. Joe isn't in his life that way.
What do you think happens with Iris? Do you think think about it. So if Barry comes back and his mom didn't die and then time didn't happen the way it did, Iris is probably with Eddie Thawne.
Yeah.
He's not dead, so they could bring him back, because if Nora Allen's not killed, the timeline gets crazy askew. But as we know in the comics, it goes incredible places in Flashpoint, including Thomas Wayne as the Batman. Like in that version of the story, since Barry changed time, everything going forward was changed, created the New 52 universe over at DC. But one of the big things was Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne in the alley. Joe Chill didn't kill them, he killed the boy. Bruce Wayne dies, and that drives the father to become Batman, but even fucking better, it drove the mom to become the Joker.
Yeah.
That was so fucking amazing. That is also as an adjunct to the Flashpoint like miniseries and stuff. Now, I don't know if they could do that, because historically, over in Berlanti Land, they don't let them play with Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman, the Trinity. But that's Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne. That's not Bruce. Bruce is then only referenced as little boy. I would break the law. If I was DC and Warner Brothers going like, well, that's movie stuff, I'd be like, come on, they're fucking doing Batman on Fox, and it's a little boy. You telling me we can't do, not even Batman.
Nope, Bruce Wayne.
Thomas Wayne, his parents, and Martha Wayne. Ain't nobody jockeying to get those characters. Like, I want to get them next. Like, nobody cares about them. I hope they bring them in. I hope Berlanti should have enough juice at this point, man. They just added CW, Supergirl to the CW, so it's practically DCW at this point. He's got 4 comic book shows. Coming into this season, dude, you've got complaints from some of the other shows and whatnot. Anybody's like, well, this character's missing. This gives him a chance to like reboot the universe with this storyline they're doing. Flashpoint. It's pretty astounding.
Or they do that stuff to Arrow. Like they turn it into like Arrow's dad is Arrow and Stephen Amell isn't, like he doesn't survive the island. Like there's all of those, sliding doors versions of that universe.
Can you imagine they do that across all the shows?
I mean, they should. That's how they're going to incorporate Supergirl into the sort of CW Prime universe. Like, this is their reset for that. She's no longer on a different planet anymore.
She was Earth 3 before.
Yeah. Now she's fucking here, because if you don't have a Supergirl Flash crossover every 8 episodes, then you're an idiot.
Yeah, then you're failing at life. You heard it here first. The other thing I loved in this episode, I thought was really fucking emotional, was, one of the greatest moments of the last season finale. Barry is about to go in and save his mother, and then suddenly the version of him that's already there goes like this and says no. And Barry like reacts and doesn't do it, and his mom gets killed. So here he goes back in this season finale to the exact same moment and stops the Reverse Flash, and then he looks and the door opens, and it was season 1 version of Barry in that moment.
Yeah.
And Barry looks down and he sees that his mom's alive, and he has this like, Grant had a perfect reaction. I'm gonna get all fucking emotional. But he had this fucking relief. And that's the guy from season 1. The one who was like, I have to go back here because fucking Eobard Thawne is about to go back in time to his time, and this is my only chance. I've got a minute and change to go back and stop my mother from being killed. So he sees his mom alive, and he has this relief on his face, and he has a kind of like chuckle, like, and then he disappears. Which is fucked up, because that means our Barry that we've been following since the pilot, since Arrow or whatever the fuck, has officially died. That Barry died, disappeared in the doorway. So
Back to the Future Polaroid version of time travel.
he went away like the sister, like Wendy Jo Sperber. He's gone, man, or fucking Jimmy Olsen in that movie. He was in that movie too. So it's that to me was like, well, they'd already played with the time remnant thing earlier in the show, where you're like, well, it's not him, but it is him.
Totally is.
So in that moment, they killed the Barry that we all grew up with for that 1 year and change, all the way up to that moment in time. But that is especially that fucking Barry, man. Like, that broke my heart. Not in a way where I'm like, they fucked up. I was like, that is so rich.
Yeah.
That is so incredibly fucking deep. Like that little boy who was hurt by the death of his mom, he got to see some closure before he just blinked out of fucking existence.
I do look forward to the scene, which will have to come at some point, where there's like 87 flashes in that fucking house. Where it's like, we've got to reset the timeline. We've got to go back.
Tripping over each other to save her and or let her be killed and stuff.
It's like, no, I got this. You got this? I got this. We're all good, right? Mom, no, don't. Yes, maybe, should we?
No, man, if they had pitched Flash as the time travel show, like you never would have, like when they said Flash the TV show, you're like, all right, he runs real fast and shit. But literally, you get to do with this shit. You get to do time travel things.
Because it's science. Like, as we talked about in Game of Thrones, that for me, time travel wasn't baked into that. That show's about magic, which I guess you can time travel with magic, but whatever. This is science, and this is fake science. This is like Cisco making shit up because it sounds cool science. Right. If you run this fast, you'll go up a wall.
They're reversing the polarity.
Yeah,
shit
what
like
the
that,
quantum mega thrust of the catatonic particle?
Them's words smarter than my words, so I believe yous.
It's teching the tech, is what they used to call it on Star Trek.
That's right.
Tech the tech. And it doesn't matter because it's science. It's science enough. And so time travel works. And they use it to such devastating effect, you don't mind. And it's why I didn't mind it that much in Game of Thrones, because it's used to such devastating effect.
Look, some people use time travel and they fucking waste it or whatever. Game of Thrones used it expertly this week, I feel. Flash, I mean, we've yet to see season 3, but for a jumping off point, for a season finale, like how do you top last year's season finale? In the last 5 minutes of their episode, they were able to stand shoulder to shoulder with that very powerful episode to be like, everything you know is now about to fucking change. Or is it? But it has to.
It will.
It's Flashpoint.
Yeah.
So that means you get a whole fucking season, 23 episodes to like fuck up the world, man. Like there's like, think about it. He could go back, not have his powers because he's no longer the Flash at that point. His mom doesn't die. Maybe all that other shit doesn't happen. But Wally can be the Flash. So you know how they didn't do Wally last season? Everyone's like, when's he gonna get his powers? Maybe when we come back, Wally is the Flash. Jesse Quick is Jesse Quick. And Barry's the one who's powerless because he was powerless in at one point he gets stabbed through the leg in Flashpoint Paradox, the movie. And Batman had to like get him his power back, recreate the experiment and shit like that.
Because science.
Because science, bitch. Oh my God, what a great fucking 2 hours of television this week. Better than fucking movies. Like,
so good.
Certainly better than every Kevin Smith movie. But better than a lot of movies except for like Civil War. Like so rich. Such wonderful performances. Great direction. Fantastic production design. Excellent writing. It all begins with excellent writing. You heard why that writing was so excellent.
It's on the page, man. If it's not on the page, it's not on the stage.
Fuck. And it rhymes.
And it rhymes.
That goddamn rhymes, so it's easy to remember.
Mnemonic, son.
There it is, man. We talked about Game of Thrones. We talked about Flash. Now we got to talk about getting out of here, man. We're going to disappear like Barry in the doorway after our mom is saved by another Flash. There's a metaphor and analogy you can use almost anywhere, and it'll probably get you laid, kids. For Fat Man, I'm Batman. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernard.
Come back and see us next time. Same fat time, same fat channel. Smodcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor, click that thing below that says subscribe. Every time you click that, you save a baby kitten from murder.